Okay, before we start, I want you guys to leave a comment as to how you deal with growing up personally. And I think from this we can achieve more perspectives to this topic and we can basically help each other deal with it. So, how to deal with growing up. And growing up can be a very, very scary thing because you've never experienced it before. You know, you go through life and there's so many different obstacles and there's so many different things that happens at each stage of your life, and it kind of hits you because time goes really quickly and the next thing you know, you're just an older person. And, you know, as a kid, you might have heard adults go like to you, "Oh man, life goes too quickly, you're not going to like it when you get older, and you're just going to want to be a kid forever." And I think two things with this. One, it is kind of true, because again, as a kid, you're in that state where you don't have to think about as many responsibilities and things like that, you're just living life, right? But two, as an adult, there's many blessings that come alongside growing up too. So it's not really a thing where you kind of want to be a kid forever, and you can develop that kid-like spirit even at an old age. It's just that people get so sucked up by the world and all of its responsibilities that they forget what it feels like to be a kid. So, and it's a scary thing because again, at each stage of your life, you're pretty much going to have this sort of fear of the unknown, because the past is all you know, right? You can only go back on previous events. You can't really look into future events, and that can be very scary for some. You know, it's the fear of the unknown, and a lot of people are going to have this because, wow, how could you be human if you didn't have it, right? But that's not really enough to use as an excuse in the sense of looking forward to life in the future and growing up, because there's plenty of good things when you grow up, man. You've got freedom, and I don't think people understand how powerful freedom is. Now, again, with great power comes great responsibility, and a lot of people exactly can't really follow this responsibility, so they end up crumbling, right? Because they're not really set for the level of freedom that they achieve when they get older. They're not really taught, right? And yeah, maybe this could be society's fault or school's fault. You know, they don't teach you how to pay taxes, they don't teach you how to do anything really apart from just read a book, or at least read a textbook. But don't fret, because at the end of the day, take responsibility. If they're not going to do it for you, you can do it for yourself. You can start to learn how to do things, how to develop skills. You can maximize the use of freedom that you're achieving as time goes on. It's a beautiful thing because now you can tap into so many different things. And me personally, I wasn't a big fan of a lot of the school-based topics when I was growing up. However, now I can have a really big understanding of, and actually liking some of the stuff that I'm learning as time goes by. Even a lot of subjects where I would have thought were boring are not actually boring, because when you kind of self-teach a little bit, you start to really wonder, and it's nice, man. And again, that's because you have the freedom to kind of do what you want, right, as you get older. And I think the really big thing that people should really try to achieve is achieving that kid-like spirit into being an adult. Because imagine if you had all this extra energy that like a lot of when you were younger might have had, and being able to channel that into like your goals and dreams and things like that, and you're just pretty much in the present moment constantly. You're not thinking about the future or the past, you're just doing, and you can achieve pretty crazy things with this. Now, even if you look at a lot of people who you might even look up to, celebrities, athletes, or anyone, right? Typically they achieved what they achieved because of that kind of spirit inside of them, not to give up, to keep going. And essentially I think this is the pretty much childlike spirit, or at least childlike wonder. And when you develop this, you start to appreciate life for what it is, not what you want it to be, but for what it is. And then nurturing this to whatever you want in life is like the key to fulfillment, because now you're tapping into the power of being an adult, but also with that childlike spirit. So that's one way of dealing with growing up, right? You can understand that it's going to come with more flexibility, more freedom. You get to kind of do what you want, and even the chances, right, where you don't really do what you want to do because you might be tied to a job, you might have responsibilities and financial responsibilities. At least you get to work, at least you get to provide, and at least you get to do something. Now again, if you're in a situation like that as well, I know it's tough and it's really hard to get out of, but it's still doable. There's a lot of different methods and things you have to take, And it might require more sacrifice, and it might require more discipline and motivation and all of that willpower stuff in order to achieve, again, more freedom for yourself, right? And sometimes that might take deleting all social media, becoming lonely and focusing on the role that you kind of want to go on, the path that you really want to go to. But again, you see, there's beauty in that, because now you're not dependent on anything outside of yourself. And now you have the freedom to kind of gear whatever scenario you're in into something else. Now you're basically able to transmute a darker path into a more lighter path where you get to move forward. And again, imagine developing that childlike spirit within that. You pretty much get to go forward with joy all over your face, because you know where you're going to get to, the destination you're going to get to is a lot better than where you're at now. And yeah, I also think growing up is pretty cool because you get to experience more, you know. You get to have more wisdom as time goes by, and wisdom is an amazing teacher. Now, despite whether or not you go through dark times, light, good times, whatever it might be, right? At the end of the day, these are all experiences who have shaped you into who you are today. And they've taught you everything you need to know about yourself, or at least to a path where you get to know yourself better than when you did before. So don't be stuck in the past and keep moving forward, because we can only look to the future and the present. The past is done. So sometimes a lot of people, they can't really accept that, and they often fall into a victim mindset of, oh man, it was easier then. But if you develop the right mental fortitude and the right level of willpower, you can make life get better and better and better, because now you've got more freedom, and now you'll get to bring your wisdom to the world, or bring your skill set to the world. Belief is key, so keep believing in yourself, and if you don't, I believe in you. And again, if you still even can't believe in yourself, just try and figure out where. So spend some time with yourself and figure out where does it really come from. Is it an external factor where you feel like people are going to judge you, or maybe you feel like you're not good enough? Just try and work on that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about how you personally deal with growing up. I think I covered a few bits, but I'm sure I haven't covered all of them. And yeah, appreciate you guys for watching. Peace and blessings be to you all, and I'll see you in the next one.